Google Maps, that is AI. Even autocorrect is AI. So it's actually been around for a while. But when I'm talking about generative AI, I'm talking about using AI to create something. When it comes to image generation, the more detail and context you can give, the better your output is going to be. So it's not one and done. Your first output is just the beginning. It is the starting point. There's a lot of things it can do, from writing pitches, if you're pitching any type of writing tasks, research, social media, content creation. There's just so much you can do. The main takeaway here is that AI is not going away. We need to adapt, right? You know, if you hate it, you just need to adapt to it, or you're probably going to be left behind.
It's really kind of nearing, believe it or not, close to 20 members. And this is all really set up as forming a community around specialized packaging, those that use it, those that sell it, those that work with it. And it's since kind of morphed into some other things regarding environmental. Tim Barbary is very, very much involved with the carbon footprint and some cost calculator, I guess you could say methodology, Tim, software. And I just, the world is changing, and the fact that this community is really important for us to kind of continue to share thoughts and ideas about different types of topics. AI is huge. AI has a lot of people, whether they love it or they hate it. They don't want to use it. They're afraid of it, but it's here to stay. Very much like Tim had always been saying about the carbon footprint and how governments measure carbon footprint. We can believe it. We can agree or not agree with it one way or the other, but those that are setting policy are paying attention to it. So it's like AI. So that's kind of how I connected it with AI. And being that I'm involved with Nextcode Labs, I thought this is the perfect opportunity to just kind of let you tell us about what Nextcode Labs does. Tell us about AI, your thoughts with it, and just take it away from there.
Absolutely. Thank you, David. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to go right into screen share. Okay, so if you have any questions that come up, please drop them in the chat, and I'll be sure to make a little time and do my best to answer them. But welcome everyone to today's talk, Introduction to Gen AI for Business Owners. My name is Wave Wild. Yes, I'll address the elephant in the room. That is my real name. I get that question a lot. It's my real name. And I'm gonna introduce you to the world of AI and using Gen AI specifically, and using it for your business. Now, I work for a company called Nextcode Labs. We are an education company. We teach AI. There's actually many other aspects to the company. We have a podcast. We have a community. We have a community for AI developers and so on. But what all you need to know is that today we're talking about AI for business owners and getting you started to use AI so that you can stay ahead of the game. You can increase productivity, save time, and maybe even some money too. So I would love to know if anyone here has used any AI tools. If you have, please drop it in the chat, because I would love to know if anybody's got a little bit of experience, where we're at with all of this, so I can get a sense of where everyone is. Please let me know in the chat if you've used, ChatGPT, any of these kinds of tools. David, of course, you've used ChatGPT because we talk about it a lot in our membership and our program. Okay, ChatGPT, good to know, Matthew. Thank you. That is probably the most common one of the chatbot.
Wave, what's the one that the Microsoft, it's like Co-Man or that's GBT
Copilot.
Anyhow, right? That's the Copilot. That's it. Okay.
Microsoft Copilot. So I will mention that coming up as well.
So,
all right. So
I'm having a problem trying to get into the chat bit here. However, I can tell you I've recently been using Claude AI.
Yes. Claude is
not
another
in business
one.
actually, but I have used it privately. it's a long story short, but I run a martial arts club, and I couldn't put all the communication into too few words as a website would require. And someone said, have you tried Claude AI? And then I completely just reworded everything in the website as a consequence.
Amazing. I'm glad you've had some experience with that. Jesse is saying GPT is amazing. You're building a tool using large language models. That's awesome. I'm not sure if you're referring to one of the GPTs in ChatGPT, but that sounds really cool. Okay, let's move on, and we'll talk about our little roadmap for today. So this is what we're going to talk about in today's session. We'll go through what exactly is Gen AI, what am I talking about when I say those words, some benefits of AI, how you could use it in your business. We'll go through some of the common tools. I'll talk about a few mistakes and then give you some tips to get started. Okay, so what is Gen AI? You can read this little blurb here on your own, but what I'm talking about, it is, well, first of all, artificial intelligence. That's what we call AI. AI is just short for that. And you've probably already been using AI without even knowing it. If you use Siri or you use Alexa, that uses artificial intelligence. If you watch Netflix, raise your hand. Those recommended suggestions, that is a recommendation algorithm. That is AI. Google Maps, that is AI. Even autocorrect is AI. So it's actually been around for a while. But when I'm talking about generative AI, I'm talking about using AI to create something. So instead of using a large language model, which has been trained on data sets to output something, Gen AI is doing that to create something new. So to create new text, or to create new images or videos or voices or music. So Gen just stands for the generative, in that we are creating something new from that data, from that data set, from that large language model. Okay. Now, this is just a graphic I pulled from an AI research company that's just kind of giving you an overview of where they see generative AI going in the future. Just a few key things here, what they're saying. 2024, 40% of enterprise applications will feature embedded conversational AI, making a significant jump from less than 5% in 2020. Conversational AI is coming fast. We're already seeing that with the new release of ChatGPT 4.0. And then you can see in the next few years, there's going to be a lot around regulations and ethics, even specifically job increases related to AI ethics and regulations. I don't know about you, but I see these Facebook ads that are like, get a career in AI regulation. And they're like already training for that, which is pretty crazy. Then they're saying by 2030, AI generated images and videos will be virtually indistinguishable from real ones, which is pretty crazy because they're already pretty good. They're getting there. So I think 2030 is even maybe a little bit late. I will probably hit it before that. And then, you can read these here or take a screenshot if you like, but really, really interesting stuff. The main takeaway here is that AI is not going away. We need to adapt. Right? If you hate it, you just need to adapt to it, or you're probably going to be left behind. Okay, let's talk about some of the benefits for using AI. First of all, increased productivity and efficiency. So it can automate repetitive and time-consuming tasks, which is going to free up valuable time for your business and your employees to focus on other activities. Now, this includes things like automating administrative tasks like data entry or scheduling or accounting processes. But more of the, Gen AI benefits fall into, I would say, marketing part of your business. Excuse me. So that would be the copywriting, web design, social media, content creation, those types of things. Now, it can also improve customer service. So AI-empowered chatbots and virtual assistants can provide a 24/7 customer support, answering common queries and addressing issues promptly. This enhances, the customer service experience and reduces the workload on human support staff. Now, there are already software and tools out there where you can make and program your own website chatbot. It's very easy these days. So that is already there. Number 3, a big one is brainstorming. So this is a huge one for tools like ChatGPT, right? If you are drawing a blank, you need to do any type of task and you're just drawing a blank on where to start, you can start talking to these chatbots for help. So if you need ideas for content, if you need to write a blog and you don't know where to start, or let's just say that you have a problem in your business and you need ideas to help solve it. It can also give you those insights and ideas. So an example is, let's say you want to increase revenue in your business. All you have to do is go to ChatGPT and say, tell it what the problem is, give it a little bit of background information on what you do, your target audience, maybe your current services, and it can help you brainstorm ideas and think of things that you haven't thought of yet to increase that revenue. So pretty cool stuff there. Analyzing data. AI can analyze customer data, behavior patterns, market trends to deliver more of these personalized marketing campaigns or even product recommendations. So it really can help you make better decisions. It can identify the patterns. AI can provide those valuable insights and predictions to inform those business decisions. And that could be related to operations, inventory management, product management, pricing strategies. So very powerful tool for that. Of course, we have cost savings. Business owners, we always love to cut down our expenses and save money. But one thing I want to be clear about our company, Next Collabs, we really do believe that AI is about amplifying human potential. It's not about taking away jobs because AI is going to create a lot of jobs as well. But for smallest business owners, if you can, reduce costs, if it is helpful. So say, you need to hire a freelancer to rewrite copy for your website. Instead, now you could do that with ChatGPT. All right, and number 6, we have the competitive advantage. So AI can help, compete with larger enterprises or with people who are your competitors by providing access, right, to these advanced technologies and insights. That's where we go back to that analyzing that data. By doing that, we're getting that little bit of that competitive advantage and we're staying ahead because it's, instead of getting those insights from somewhere else, which could be very costly or difficult to obtain, we can now do that with the tools like ChatGPT. Okay, let's talk about some use cases. So if you do marketing in your business, there is a lot that you can do with Gen AI. And this is what we focus on in Next Learning Labs a lot. I don't think I have to go through all of these. I think you get an idea. There's a lot of things it can do, from writing pitches if you're pitching media, if you're pitching a company or for some sort of collaboration, any type of writing tasks, research, social media, content creation, just even identifying trends in your interest, in your industry and researching those, creating anything from memes and infographics, using it to research SEO. There's just so much you can do with these tools when it comes to marketing, which is why in the marketing industry, they have so quickly adopted Gen AI. If you have any questions about that, you can let me know. But let's get into some of the common AI tools. So I've broken this down into basically chatbots, images, and video, sort of the three types of ways that we can use these tools. So the first one I want to talk about are what we call chatbots. And I'm mentioning these because they are some of the most popular, most popular tools. So you've probably already heard, we've already mentioned a few of them. Now, ChatGPT was the first one that was released in 2022. I have the wrong date there. I think it's 2022. I'll have to correct that. And made a lot of news, right? This is where it kind of took the world by storm. OpenAI is the company that released ChatGPT. And now these tools are primarily, again, used for things like brainstorming, analyzing data, writing tasks, or you can also use it for conversational AI. Now, one thing I've noticed across all these different tools is they do have a very similar interface. They look the same, and you kind of use them the same way. So it's very easy to use new ones and go back and forth. I'll tell you right now, a lot of times, I was doing this yesterday, I was reworking an email, and I basically tested what ChatGPT gives me and what Gemini gives me kind of in two different windows to get the output and kind of test it. So pretty cool stuff because they're just so similar. And the way they work is that you want to use a prompt. So this is text. You are going to prompt it. You input the information to get an output. And a lot of these chatbots can do they do text, they do images, they can also produce video, and they can even code. And they all have free and paid plans. So they have different features, certain things you can do on free plans and some that you can do on paid plans. So again, we have ChatGPT was the first one. It's the most popular. Then Google's product is what is called Gemini. It used to be known as Bard. It does tend to be more accurate than ChatGPT because of the real-time information. However, there are things they are getting better with ChatGPT. The Microsoft version of this is called Copilot. What's cool about Copilot is if you use the Microsoft interface, right? You're using Excel, Word, all of those tools, Outlook, it will integrate with that into each of those software programs. And then we have Claude, which is made by a company called Anthropic. And I will tell you, I have not used Claude because I'm in Canada and it is not available here. So we can't get Claude. I haven't had access to that. Hopefully we get that one soon. So those are your chatbots. But I want to make it really clear too that there are other tools that people use for writing copy that are very popular. Now, the chatbots, you don't have to have these tools. I just wanted to mention them because people like to use them if they are creating a lot of copy or doing very specific tasks that require a lot of written words. So just to know that other tools are out there. The chatbots will do writing tasks, but if you do a lot of writing, copywriting for marketing purposes, you might want to try some of these other tools. Probably the most well-known one is Jasper.ai. That one's been around for a few years. And they all have a bit more specific features for writing, different ways for prompting to get different types of outputs. So just to keep that in mind. Let's look at some image generators. If you have played around with some of these image generators, please let me know. I'm going through like the most common and popular ones. But again, I will tell you there are hundreds of image generators online, and they are probably using Stable Diffusion, the back end of Stable Diffusion, but there are hundreds, but these are probably the most common. So this, in the same way as the chatbots, you're going to use text and you're going to provide a detailed prompt. When it comes to image generation, the more detail and context you can give, the better your output is going to be. And with the image generation prompts, they can get so specific. You can ask for a certain style. You can even give it the aperture of a camera aperture to get a certain type of look. You can ask for certain lighting styles. It's pretty amazing what you can do. Most of these tools are going, when you generate, you put in a prompt, they're going to actually give you a few versions, usually 4 versions. And then from there, you can continue to choose one image and work on it. You can save all of the images, but they give you various outputs. What is new is character consistency. So this is a new feature across a lot of the image generator tools that we haven't had before. So now we are able to kind of create the same character consistently, which is really important if you're using a certain type of image for marketing and you want the same type of look, or you're using your own kind of brand imagery. And face swapping is really cool. A lot of these tools do the face swapping. That's kind of where the deep fakes are coming from. There's a lot of these really advanced face swapping tools. I did not include some of the ones that I did. Maybe I should have, just to show you a few, but it's pretty amazing and insane. So Midjourney is probably the most revered image tool because it produces the most realistic and detailed images that can look like photos. It's not as user-friendly as some of the other ones that get a little bit complex. They have moved to a website for certain users. Otherwise, you have to use another platform called Discord. So if you're not familiar with that, there can be a little bit of a learning curve when you're onboarding and kind of getting used to how Midjourney works. And then we have DALL-E, which is made by OpenAI. So it's actually built into ChatGPT. So if you upgrade and you are on the ChatGPT Plus, the paid plan of $20 a month, you can make images through DALL-E. And I think it's DALL-E 3 right now, the 3rd edition of DALL-E. And then we have Stable Diffusion made by Stability AI. This is open source, so a lot of other image tools are using that code and that backend to create their own image tools. Also very popular, well-known image generator. So I just want to show maybe some versions of what the one image would look like, one input. And I don't actually have the prompt here, but you could probably guess who this is if you've played a certain Nintendo video game. Well, they're showing an output of Midjourney, you can see, which is a little more photorealistic. Now, this was DALL-E 2. I would say this is not a great output, but DALL-E 3 will look a lot better because now we're on a new generation of DALL-E. And then we have the Stable Diffusion output, just to give you an idea of the kind of quality and look that you can get across different image generation tools.
I hope you like this content. If you want more of it, I put together a specialized packaging alliance, a group of packaging professionals that are in different facets of this industry. We have webinars, we have meetings. The idea is to share information about this great industry of packaging, whether that be from the sales side of things to the marketing, even to the end users. My point with this is I'd love to have you join us, the Specialized Packaging Alliance. Check out the link below to learn more. Thanks.
Okay, let's talk about video generators. Now, I will say first thing, they're not as advanced as the image or the chatbot. So the output that you get from text to video is more limited. It's not quite there yet, but it is getting better and better. And this is where I think the biggest boom in AI and Gen AI is going to is through these video generation tools. So 2 very popular ones, Runway and Pika Labs. Now, Runway does a maximum of 5 seconds, and it does text to video, or you can give it an image to go to video, or it will also do video to video. And then Pika Labs is actually free, so you might want to give that one a try if you just want to play around with it. It also does text to video, or it does image to video. And then I just wanted to point out the AI avatars. This is also, they're a very popular tool. This is a picture of mine. I just did a screen grab of my avatar. I made this in HeyGen. I've used it in some courses. I've used it in some marketing tools where I recorded a video of me, and then and it also takes my voice. And then all I have to do in HeyGen is input the script by text, and it outputs the video of me talking. You can use other avatars, or you can make one of yourself. HeyGen, Synthesia, Deep Brain AI are probably the most well-known. There's quite a few. There's like more and more AI avatars every day. But I find that HeyGen has really good quality ones and very realistic. And again, they are only getting better. And then I wanted to mention some video AI tools. So these are not exactly video generators in that you would take text and then get an output. What these do is they use AI to create video, but this could be through a number of different ways. It could be through sourcing stock footage or combining photos with videos, that type of thing. So there are a lot of these video AI tools out there. InVideo is probably the most popular one. Pictory.ai is another good one. I've played around with that one a little bit for creating videos. So they're not the same in that they're taking text to create a video. Some of them might have a few features like that built in that are very limited in their capabilities, but it's mostly creating video through other sources of photos or video. And the next one, I wanted to show you what sort of is coming up with video generation in AI. So this is from OpenAI. Now they released Sora, well, they publicly talked about Sora right here, which is a text to video tool. Now, this is not released to the public, but I just want to show you some examples of what they are doing. So you can see here, the prompt is a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, a long red dress, a black boots, and it continues. And this is the output. Let's see if it'll play. Oh, maybe it won't play while I'm screen sharing. This one's playing. Or it seems like the ones before me are playing. Well, I'm happy to share this link if you want to check it out. So OpenAI released this and talked about it. However, it is not available to the public yet. And that's because, right, they're testing it and they're making sure that it's safe and that, it can be used safely. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but once these types of tools are available to the public en masse, it is going to be insane. This is why people are concerned about, AI in Hollywood. And, you're going to be having these AI tools being able to create full-length movies. So it's going to really change things. And this stuff is coming soon. We're seeing more and more of these video generation tools. So it's very exciting stuff. Now, I also wanted to mention, just to be super clear on the difference between these AI tools and what I call AI enhanced tools, because this is also something we're really seeing across a lot of platforms. And that is that all of these tools, all these platforms that we use in our business are building AI into them. So they are using what I call AI enhanced tools. If anybody uses Canva, you might know of what they call Magic Studio. Here's a picture of it here where you can create images, you can generate videos, resize, expand things, remove backgrounds, all using AI. Now, I'll tell you specifically that Canva uses DALL-E. I find that it's not the best image generator, but again, a lot of these tools are trying to be, all in one and building in the AI enhanced parts of them. So we're seeing that everywhere. And maybe you've already noticed that as well. Like Adobe Photoshop has all kinds of AI tools built into it. If you are doing any video editing, like I use CapCut a lot, they now have avatars. They are doing text to video generation. Or maybe you've noticed it in any of your CRM tools. If you, any of your email marketing tools, a lot of them are building AI in where, looking for an idea or a content prompt, they might have like an AI assistant. So this is coming. You can expect to see this in every tool that you use. I even think if you use like Salesforce as a CRM has a lot of the AI tools kind of built into it. So just to be aware that even everybody has to keep up with this boom of AI and how it's kind of dominating where we're going in the future. So it's all being built in to all of these tools. Okay, let's talk about some common mistakes I see people make with generative AI. We don't want to be like this guy who's looking really stressed out. We don't want that to happen. So the first thing I want to talk about is poor prompting. Now, we're not going really deep into advanced prompt skills right now here. I'll basically just say, if you put garbage in, you'll get garbage out. If you're being lazy and you're not giving a lot of detail and context, you probably won't get a good output. So the more detail and context that you put in, and then ask, the AI specific questions like, do I need to include anything? Is there anything else I should include? Is there anything else you need to know in order for you to do this task? Or getting feedback, you will get a better output. Another mistake I see is that, taking the first output is putting something into ChatGPT and then just taking that one and being like, okay, it's done, right? So it's not one and done. Your first output is just the beginning. It is the starting point. Most outputs are going to require a bit of tweaking. Maybe you want to hit regenerate this again. Maybe you want to ask it for 10 other ideas if you didn't like the first 10 ideas. So you don't want to go with the very first thing it says. Next, you always want to check your outputs, one, for accuracy, because it's well known that ChatGPT is not the most accurate. Now, things like Gemini and other AI tools are using Google and tend to be more accurate, and they have more real-time information. But you always want to fact check. So do not just copy and paste that output, put it into an email, post it into a blog on the internet. You definitely want to check it for facts and then also humanize the copy. Like maybe go through it a little bit, add in a personal story or add in a little bit more of your brand voice or change some of the words that makes it sound a little bit human. There is a joke in the AI industry, especially in marketing, that you can tell when you started using these tools a little bit, you can kind of tell when something's written by ChatGPT, right? It likes to use certain words like unlock or unleash. Or I saw an article where they were saying that it was using the word delve a lot. So you definitely want to humanize it a little bit more. And then the last one is thinking that it's magic. Okay, so yes, in a way, AI is magic. And when you first start using it, it feels very magical. But you do want to consider more of a collaborative approach. So you can't just wave a wand and instantly get a website done in 60 seconds. Yes, the marketing wants you to believe that. But it's not that easy. You definitely do have to, again, take some time and tweak. I'll tell you right now that this whole presentation was made with an AI tool called Gamma. And I put in a prompt asking it to give me, I just asked it to make a presentation that is an introduction to generative AI and include these, 4 or 5 things. And it made this presentation. But yes, I had to go back and add some different images, change the structure a little bit, change some of the language. I didn't like some of what the output was. So it still takes a bit of time, right? It's a collaborative process. You use it as the starting point. Okay, so what I want you to do is take action, right? How many times have you watched a presentation like this and then you never implemented any of it? Raise your hand if you're guilty of that. I know I am too, right? If you want to get started with AI and you've never done this at all, this could be a 20-minute exercise. So just 20 minutes. Pick one of the tools I mentioned. I would recommend one of the chatbots because they're the easiest to set up, whether it's ChatGPT or go to just Google Gemini, set up your account, log in, and then start asking it questions and start talking to it, just so that you can get familiar with what that experience is like and what kind of outputs you're getting. Don't worry about having the perfect prompt. You can improve your prompting skills over time. But just to get a little bit of that experience. And then, pick one of those tasks I mentioned, maybe one of those marketing tasks. It could be something you really need to do, or maybe it's just practice, like ask it to write a blog. Write a 750 blog on SEO tips for blah, 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 blah. Or ask it to create an image and see what you get. So pick one of those tasks and then just play and experiment. So maybe you want to experiment with some different prompts, giving it more detail and seeing how much better the output it is. Or ask it questions. So asking it, is there anything else you would recommend changing based on, its expertise? Those types of things, okay? So 20 minutes, that's all it takes to just get started with AI. Okay, and then next steps, if you want to learn more about AI, you really want to start implementing it in your business to get ahead of the curve, then you can join us at Next Learning Labs. This is our membership. We meet weekly. We alternate between Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we do training sessions, and then we alternate with an open lab. So yesterday we did a session on updating your brand with AI, and we had a workflow for that. And then we have the support where you can come if you're stuck on anything, you have questions, you need help, we have that open lab. So this is all about getting ahead of the curve, saving time, increasing productivity. If you have any questions about that, let me know. We do also have beginner courses and resources within our portal that you can access. You can cancel at any time. There's no commitment. So I will drop a link in the chat, which is David's link. If you're interested in joining us, we would love to have you. And then if you have any questions, just let me know. Now is a good time. We're at 11:40. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there and drop your link in the chat, David, if you haven't done that already.
I'll send it out, whether I'll send it out. I'll send it out with the recording. So Hugh, to your question, I'll send a recording of this, and it'll have what Wade was going over in the different parts. I had a couple of questions on the prompts themselves. Is there a way to, and I know you mentioned, you can keep asking it more and more detailed questions, but with prompts, do I need to use the proper punctuation? I always worry that if I don't have a comma or a semicolon or whatever it is, it's going to get lost. Does that make sense?
The AI is pretty smart. A lot of times I enter a prompt and there's typos and bad grammar, and it still understands what I need. But so here's the thing. I actually think, that not to get too hung up on prompts. When I first started with AI, I got all these prompt guides that you need to do these 5 steps in a prompt, give it context, tell it exactly to act like a copywriting expert or whatever.
Yeah.
And the AI is getting smarter. So prompting in time is not even going to be as important as it was like a year ago. So yes, you do want to give it some context. But I'll admit I do sometimes get a little bit lazy in my prompts, and I still get pretty good outputs. So I wouldn't get too hung up on, especially.
I get it. It was just
back in the day. Yeah. I would
Yeah.
see these
I
Facebook
just
ads
remember
saying,
back in the
100
day.
prompts. And I was like,
Yes.
you really don't need that. Like, you could ask
Got it.
ChatGPT for prompt. If you need a prompt for Midjourney, tell it, like, say, I need a prompt for Midjourney for creating an image like this, and it will give you a prompt.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's got. I was just thinking about back in the day when you had to make sure you put like something in parentheses or whatever it is to make sure that it focused on that particular name or word or whatever. But I get it. I'm thinking the same thing. For everyone's benefit, what I and Wave is not going to share necessarily, but this is Next Code Labs is, like she mentioned before, this is education. This isn't, they're not selling you anything. What I love about this is that when you get together on these labs, if you will, if you are working on a project like she mentioned, if you're trying to do something with a particular website or whatever, this is where you can noodle with Wave and some other people to kind of find out and kind of go back and forth of what tools work best. The one thing I got from the first time I did this was Wave had sent over almost like that. Wave, you had sent over almost like a file that said, here are the tools that are best for, a video, like kind of what you did here, but it was almost like an Excel spreadsheet that basically said, this is used for marketing. This is used for video marketing. This one is used for, and it was almost like a list of like 50 different places. And I thought that was fascinating because you had mentioned, I asked it earlier, but there are different tools that work better for different types of tasks, which I in my state education, I never thought that would be the difference.
Yeah, and you can use one tool if you don't, we're not like trying to get you to sign up for 100 different tools. Nobody wants more tools and more subscriptions,
Right.
monthly subscriptions, right?
Right.
So we do focus on the main tools. Sometimes we mention another tool that's really good for something specific, but yeah, I mean, we focus mostly on, ChatGPT. We do a little bit on Canva from the design side, but it's pretty much the same tools. But yeah, there's a lot that you can do with them. Now, sometimes in our workflows, we use different tools, and that question came up last night in our session. She's like, well, what if I don't want to use all these tools? You just used 3 different tools in this workflow. And I said to her to explain it, I was like, but once you start working with the tools a bit more, you start to have preferences. So I'm not the only teacher in this program. Brad is our expert on AI tools, and he was showing the different workflow, and he used ChatGPT and Gemini at the same time. And then he created an image, and then he took that image into Canva, and then he used Canva to tweak it. And she's like, well, if I don't want to use all those tools. And I said, well, here's the thing. I know for sure that, he created the image in Midjourney, that, some people don't like the image outputs in ChatGPT. And I prefer Midjourney too. So you start to get more preferences for different tools. And then that's why we start using more of them. Thankfully, it's very, very affordable. I think I'm only paying $11 a month.
Wait, I've got a question. So I have, as I mentioned, used Claude, and I know you haven't used that particular one, but I was writing a number of the core principles in the world of martial arts. So there were a number of blogs, if you will. And in the first couple, I actually said to Claude, would you please tone down the language? It was very... It was using warrior here and so forth. And so you absolutely right. I played around and I said, please remove the word warrior, for example. And it did. And so I actually instructed it to tone the language down, which, is quite an interesting word. And it did. And it did it very well. But then the interesting thing was, because I was writing 7 different core principles, by the third one, I no longer found the need to ask it to tone it down. So I'm beginning to wonder, was Claude actually beginning to figure out something about me and what I was looking for, such that it then needed less prompts to get me to where I wanted it to be? Am I imagining that, or is that real?
No, you're pretty spot on. So So in the past, these tools haven't had what we call persistence, and they're getting better with persistence and memory and knowing what we want. So there was a recent update with ChatGPT on that, that it's now remembering previous conversations more, where you used to have to enter custom instructions and things. So they are improving a lot with that. So and this is again why I think, prompt engineering, it's almost dying in a way, because we don't need to learn these advanced prompting tools, because it's just getting so smart at knowing what we want.
Okay. My next question for you then, bearing in mind this is a digital platform, does Claude, in my case, appreciate the fact that I start with, "Hi Claude, can you please?" And once I've got there, I then say thank you. Does it actually recognize some sort of value in me saying hi and please and thank you?
Well, I don't think, AI is programmed to have an opinion on that. It might notice it. And yes, there's always that running joke about, being polite because, they're going to take over the world kind of thing. With the large language models, they're not supposed to have, they have safety parameters. Obviously, there's certain things they won't do and won't output, and they'll just say, I can't do that. But they're not programmed to have an opinion that they're going to like you more because you're being polite. Or I'm sure it's picking up that you are speaking to it that way.
Wave, is there anything out there that allows us to take that information that we get? If I give it a request or a prompt, I get that information, like you said, a blog post. Is there a place to then clean it up and drop it into so it doesn't get flagged on Google as being AI generated? Or I don't know whether that's good, wrong, bad. I just was wondering.
Yeah, well, you can. There's certain tools that can help with that. There are plagiarism checkers. There's like SEO checkers to optimize. You can ask it to optimize for SEO. Yeah, I mean, things are changing so fast. Google just had an announcement yesterday. The way they're releasing AI search, and they're putting ads into AI search and stuff. So, it's changing really fast. So what I say today could be changed tomorrow. Right now, what I do is just ask it to optimize for search and do plagiarism checks and that sort of thing.
Got it. Thank you. And I don't want to take you. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Sorry, Wave. By using Claude or another, should we as users then sort of, I don't know, give credit to the source that helped me provide that information? If I was to have found or I attended a conference and there was a slide and then I say the source of this information was, and I give due credit to that, should I be doing that with this activity using AI generated language?
Good question. There's a few things you can do. So I'm not sure what it's like on Claude, but on Gemini, it will give you the sources of where it's getting the information from. So it will actually give you, and like there's another tool I love called Perplexity. That's for research. It will also give you the actual websites or YouTube videos or anything where you can get, you can credit. If it's just general AI, like this presentation, I told you I made it with AI. Of course I had to, right? To show you I could do that. You could just say a general statement at the beginning, or like, if you want to be transparent, like some sort of transparency statement. We're seeing this more and more on websites and maybe in emails where people are making some sort of statement saying, we do use AI in our business to generate some of our content to help us give you more of a better experience. Everything is fact checked, that kind of like transparency statement. I think I even had ChatGPT write me a transparency statement a few times, but you could do that. So absolutely, I think it's good to be transparent, and it kind of sets the tone and sets the stage.
This is fascinating. I mean, I know we're not going to cover everything But I mean, this is such a great entry level into
there's
this.
so much we could talk about. Yeah, I do have to go. You're welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Wade.
Bye, Wade.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Wade. That was awesome. Bye.
Hi, everyone. It's David Marinak. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you want to see more, here's another video that you can check out, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.